never even had one of these.
Welcome back to the Guelph Curling Club. The Guelph Griffins and the Trent Excalibur, the two teams on the ice right now. Sheet 1 action at the University of Guelph Invitational. Lead rocks have been thrown. Thomas West here alongside Jai Mowat. He's at ice level. So that was the second rock thrown there by Paige Ballantyne. As we welcome you back to the Guelph Curling Club, Thomas West here, and Jai Mowat as well. He's at ice level right now. We'll hear from him in just a minute. Just finished off with the Ryerson Rams playing the University of Guelph men's team. That one also on sheet one, and we appreciate you tuning into the coverage here on sheet one again in draw 2 at the Guelph Curling Club. Second stones being thrown right now, the final one for the University of Guelph, and lots of rocks in play like we saw in the last game. Generally teams being pretty aggressive, and that one's going to catch the red at the back of the house. So early season, a little mixed up on the ice there, replacing that guard that was, I think, accidentally removed. Jai, have we got you down at ice level?
Yes, Thomas, I'm here, and we're underway with the second game of today's invitational tournament, where we see Trent taking on the Guelph Griffins. I'm quite excited about this game. Both teams, first game since the pandemic, with a lot of room for improvement and excitement. And let's see who comes out on top.
Yeah, and still lots to iron out for all of these teams. Obviously, they played in draw 1, but definitely looking to improve on the team communication, which is always something that's important early in the season, and we saw definitely some struggles between that in the first game, and well, that's why we have these invitational tournaments at the beginning of the year, try and sort things out, and obviously this is a much longer off season than most teams are used to coming back from. So Leslie Inglis is the skip for Team Trent Excalibur. And the Guelph Griffins are turning to Rebecca Smith. So Trent sitting 3 right now, but that biter on the edge of the forefoot yellow, I think that's going for second shot.
I like going this way. If you get the other way, it's fine. Just control. Yes. Hard.
And right off the bat there,
Whoa.
a line call, and this is really curling, and it's gonna tap that yellow, but how far back? And yeah, just able to sweep that one out of the ring, so it's still red line 1, but some trouble there in the yellow rock.
At 10, the roll is more important. So it's just this sport is kind of, I don't know, there. Okay, 10. Roll under the guard. Sorry, I'll always step down.
So Rebecca Smith's first here is the skip on sheet 1 in draw 2. And she's facing
right.
3 red rocks in there. Definitely like to shift those around. Certainly a chance to score 2. I don't know about about 3.
Yep.
The guards up top.
Hard. Yes, keep going.
And is that going to get by? It runs the red back and shifts around that corner guard a little bit. I think she probably wanted to get around that yellow rock.
I don't know if we want to roll this way though, because then you can just double. So I don't know if it knows. Okay, a little bit inside. Control, like a solid control. Okay. Nose is fine. Maybe a little bit on Brooke's side, then we can roll over. I just worry about the. Because if we rolled on like back mid, we'll go for nose to roll it a bit.
So
Solid
Leslie
control.
Inglis trying to make
If we want
contact
a
with
little bit
that
of a roll.
yellow rock that's sitting on the tee line just on the edge of the forefoot. And I think she would like to hit and stick there, but there obviously is the possibility of rolling in. Either way, very good chance that
Yep. Yes.
Trent has got their force on
Yes!
Guelph here to start off this game.
Hard. Hard. Stay with it hard.
So a little
Yes, like we're
roll
not
kicked right onto the button.
bored by-
They're probably just going to try
Yeah.
and split those rocks there.
We like register the same weight. Because I need to stick around. Okay, but that
Yes.
over curl,
Absolutely need to stick around to get your 1.
Do like a little bit more? Well, I guess. Yeah, around there. Okay. Okay. Hit, roll on. Well, I don't think I'm gonna over curl that much, but.
So here we go. Final stone for Guelph in the first end. Lots of rocks in
Whoa.
play, and they're looking for a single.
Whoa! No!
So that's going to hit and be good for second shot.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to come this way or not, just because I don't want to. If I did just. Okay, take a about there. Okay, got it. Yep. Okay. Same thing. Same weight. Was that a solid control? Like I was going for a solid.
So I think
but
we had it
wasn't.
wrong on our broadcast there. It
Okay.
is Trent with the hammer here. So here we go. All sorted out now in the first end.
I was
So
thinking maybe coming the other way just so I don't jam, but I just threw this side, so.
yeah, that changes a lot,
Yeah,
a lot
okay.
in this end actually.
All right, stay really close though, 'cause I'm taking less ice.
So this will be a shot for 4 for the Trent Excalibur to start things off here. We saw a blank in the first end last time. This is a much more aggressive
Yes.
end. Lots of rocks in
Yes.
play, and a lot of them are red.
Yes, hard!
As Trent's looking to take a 4-0 lead.
Good, you're good, good.
Inglis really likes it. And a perfect shot, scoots it out the back. So that will be 4 with the hammer for Trent. So they take a commanding lead right off the bat against the Guelph Griffins, as we head to do 4-0 for the Trent Excalibur. back at the Guelph Curling Club in Guelph, Ontario at the University of Guelph Invitational. 3 reds for Trent, trying to force Guelph in the second end. Put up a 4 spot.
Come down to this one.
Leslie Inglis made her shot perfectly, as she just had to hit and stick around for 4, finish off the first end. So aggressive play from team Brent early on, and well, they have themselves a rather commanding lead, as we saw a 4 spot to open the scoring in our last game. That was pretty much the dagger. So we'll see how the University of Guelph is able to respond. We'll bring in Jai Mowat, and Jai, I know you were freezing your fingers off down there at ice level. How you feeling now?
Well, I got a French vanilla in me, so we're a bit warm, but you're absolutely right. What a play by Trent to get that Yellowstone out of the way, to get 4 points for themselves. And that's what we talked about earlier in the first game, Thomas, is about making those shots count. And the communication between the teammates have been great, because they've been communicating to each other what's the best shot for the person throwing the stone.
So Rachel Steele and the Guelph Griffins will try and manufacture at least 2 or 3 in this end.
Yes! Yes! Yes, hard! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Brooke! Brooke! Hard, Brooke! Hard, Brooke! Hard piece! Hard piece! Go, 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 go! Sorry. Paige? Paige.
So Emily Madaw, the vice for Team Guelph.
Whoa, we're a little wide.
She'd love to sit another yellow in the rings.
Lots of room. Needs to curl. Okay, hard. Bring it even or back. Even or back. Yes. Make it even at least. Okay. 13-8.
So she'll draw that one just to the edge of the 4-foot.
13-8.
So this is really not a bad situation. If you're Guelph right now, down by 4, but you're lying 2, and both of them have a little bit of backing behind there. Certainly a chance to
You peel, that's fine.
put that yellow at the back between those 2 reds, but always the danger that there's a straight jam on one of those, and Guelph has a chance to lie 3 and have the house relatively split as well.
Yep, hard. Yep.
Enough room to roll those
Okay, you're
yellow
peeling, you're
stones
peeling.
later in the end.
Oh, maybe not.
So that one's just gonna catch the corner guard, hoping to get that one around. So this is a real good chance for Guelph to put up some points on the board. If they could put up a 3 spot right now, that would be obviously ideal. And I think they may try and just cozy one in between those 2 corner guards. Or behind them, I should say.
Okay, line's close. Well line.
So we'll see how this draw weight is here from Emily Madaw.
Close. Okay. Well line. Really needs to curl. Can we tick off? Yep, yep, yep. Tick off, tick off. No, Misa. Okay, we're not on it. Okay, less ice.
So if I were to guess, I think they may have been trying to freeze that one right onto the yellow there and make it really hard to remove 2 rocks.
Hit, like, this one
But it
first.
slides just past. Let's hear
This
what they're
can go
talking
that
about
way
here.
after that way. We don't really need to worry about that one right now. We can get it later. I like coming this way. Yeah, probably like there. I'll probably throw Norm up, just because I want to get them moving. And the house on the other sheet, I don't know about this sheet, but it's pretty dead, so just get it moving.
So Skip Inglis is, well, the long and the short I got from that is
All right.
there's going to be a
let's
little
see
bit of
if
heat
this
on this one.
So
Just get them moving.
we're gonna hit the far yellow one first. Hopefully it'll spin and hit the one near the center. We can get both those out. I'm not worried about the one that she just right now. We can always get that next or whatever. Just
Well, Tom, it's kind of like mad scientists. They love to say, more power! So that's going to definitely happen in this shot that Leslie Inglis is going to go for.
all right.
Yeah, there's going to be some power on this, Jai. So they're going to try and tick off that outside yellow that you can see in the bottom corner of your screen on the rings, and then, well, see what they can get. Ideally remove 2. An unbelievable circumstance would be 3.
Watch
Oh,
the
and this
hit.
stone's
Yep,
flying
yep,
down the sheet.
Yep,
And
yep.
not bad. Not bad at all, as she gets 2 yellows moving.
I swore.
And how about that shot, Jai?
Definitely not bad a shot at all. Was able to get 2 of the stones out of the
I
way.
could draw
Now it's all
here.
about what Guelph is going to do
If I
now.
do that,
Well, their opportunity to score 3, I think, maybe out
do
the
you think
window
she can hit and roll under if I'm like here though?
with that shot there.
Like a double, like say I'm not corner frozen, but I'm more beside it. It's so specific though. If I'm a little light, I guard it. The other option, I guess, is to hit. Well, no, I
A
literally
lot
have
of
to stay here.
communication here. You can see Guelph
And then-
is really
I don't know if it'll
deliberating
be a
between
double,
each other to try and figure out where can we best get 2 points here without losing one of the
know.
stones, because you know
I feel
that
like a
Trent are going to
14-8
try and
would-
smash it out of the way. But let's see.
They need 2, that's
What?
for sure.
You like? Okay.
I think the conversation here, yeah, I think you're right, Jai. It is about how do we score 2? How do we put this yellow rock in a position where it's close to being shot, yet
Yeah.
at the same time, you can't remove it. So I think they might be playing the freeze here. I didn't catch the back end of that conversation.
Yeah. Well, if I ever like over curl and leave it open, I guess then I get my shot for 1. Yeah. It's just a harder shot. What? Yeah, just draw in between. Yeah.
Yeah, the middle of the ice is wide open right now, so if you miss this, you always get a chance to win. You certainly don't want to steal right now. You know, you're down 4-0, but you do have hammer and even ends.
Play to the back. Play to the back.
It's got a curl.
Yes.
There it goes. Oh, now it's really curling.
Picking up that pace slowly. And it
That'll
gently
do.
Parks itself there.
Just parks it right in front of that red rock, and that is exactly what they wanted. That is very much frozen. Maybe with a lot of heat, you might be able to
Try fixing them, but I think so.
get that yellow moving, but
You like that? Maybe just, no, I like that. Okay,
And now
you got it.
Leslie Inglis, she's stuck with a really tough shot, because you could go for the
We're just
2
gonna
middle
freeze
yellows,
to the
but
6
since that
rock.
red has frozen the yellow there at the back of the forefoot, you still leave an opportunity then for Guelph when they come with their last shot, with the hammer shot, to score 2 points.
So the 7 that
Yeah.
she just threw.
you certainly want to remove one of these yellows.
I didn't get a good look. I don't know if I'd be shot. I think we would be.
And it's not a difficult shot to get
We'll go
that
for a 6 if I'm
yellow
wide open
closest to the button moving.
Okay, you got it. Stay close. I think that's enough ice. My out turns don't curl a ton. My out turns don't curl a ton, so. All right, you got it, guys.
Yeah, and Inglis saying her out turns don't curl a ton, and it'll curl even less considering a game has already been played on this ice, and it's
Yep.
flattened out a little bit.
Wait only. Yep. Yes. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Bit of an on-off here, not a bad sign. Oh, and this is that's a real nice shot right there. I think that red is shot. And that is going to be really hard to remove
And try to
if you're the Guelph
here and
Griffins.
just squeak it out to get our two.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so why don't
Yeah,
we play
you listen to
basically
the
same
word
shot
choice there, squeak it out.
we gave here last time? It's not gonna move. I think.
The only issue is if you come
Okay,
from
so
the
give
left
a
side, you have to
touch
get
more and I'll
through two
throw
corner guards.
similar
So that's
weight.
going to be pretty tough.
Back
And I don't
four, back
know
eight.
if the stone is going to curl that much. Now you could go from the left side, but you risk hitting one of your own stones out and splitting the point. Or sorry,
We just need
losing.
to tap it back a bit.
point.
So I'm basically throwing the same shot. So just like
Apologies as well to Leslie. It's
Which is what I just
Ingles,
did.
not Inglis. So apologies to the Inglis family for that. So here we go. Steele with 3 yellows, but a red in a really tough spot. Looking for 2 probably at best. Sweepers are on it now. Line looks pretty good. Did she tap it back enough? Oh, I don't know. And I think it is going to be 1 red. Or maybe not. You've only decided on one of them. I thought both of them were pretty close. Are we going to measure this one? One thing I will say is that logo, the gold line logo in the middle of the button with the kind of off-center circle makes it really hard to tell where the center of the button is. What do you think? Is it red or yellow there, Jai?
I hope this is.
I'll tell you this much, Thomas. It does look very tough to call right now. I'm right here, side sheet,
I was like,
and
this
it's
No, my first.
honestly quite evenly split. It depends on which side and which angle you look at it from.
So I'm looking at it at the overhead on the broadcast right now. I'm thinking red.
I think it might be yellow. I think the bottom end of that stone is quite deep into if you look at the T, if we look at a T cutting 4 pizza slices in the middle of the button, trying my best here to figure out who scored. It looks like yellow is quite deep on the left corner slice of the T. If that description helps.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't see it though. I'm not sure if maybe the overhead is slightly. They're gonna measure. We're gonna get a measure here. Here, let's listen in here.
So who are you going for, Thomas? Red or yellow?
I think it's red.
Yeah, which makes sense though, because that's like exhausting.
it is.
I thought you had that though. Like I thought that was yours, 100%.
Rachel Steele thought it was Trent.
I think it's yours.
Red.
All right, well, Thomas, I think you have team red and I have team yellow
Wow, are
stone.
they, like,
And
Measuring
I think
this
it should be yellow.
multiple times. I have no idea what it is.
Oh my goodness. Guys.
and they're gonna have to go the other way.
How many times are you
Unfortunately,
measuring
there's not too much room on the
Is
left
it that
side.
close?
It is that close. Yes.
What happens in that case? Is it a blank?
Yeah, we had that happen to me once at a mixed
And
qualifiers.
red.
And we brought the official
You
in
were
and,
right.
like,
It
we're
is
like,
red, Thomas. You get away with this one. I'll give you this one.
To be fair though, you looking from the side is a much worse angle than me looking at the overhead view on the monitor I have here. I got my
definitely
face right in
is
the monitor.
Who got it?
Definitely is difficult, but
Hey,
that's the
got it.
beauty of this game, Thomas. It's really a game of inches. And in that instance, it was really hard for us and the cameras to tell.
So how about that end? The whole time we were talking about Guelph maybe getting 2 or maybe even 3, and Trent comes away with the steal of 1.
And there's that. It's not always about offense. It's not always about hitting stones. It's about being able to set guards and possible freezes to steal a point.
Brooke Ramsey, the lead for Trent,
You're mid tight.
throwing her first.
Looks up. Looks up. Just top 4, guys. Yeah, just leave it.
So down 5-0 for Guelph, and Guelph is a good team. Don't count them out. Definitely a lot of offensive potential, ability to make a mess of the house in this end, and they may come away with 3 or 4, but Jai, as we've seen in the last game, Trent right now probably just going to try play the cleanest game they possibly can.
Absolutely. Losing that point is difficult. Now, you might want to play conservative, but you don't want to play too conservative and then find yourself climbing an uphill battle like we saw with the Rams when they took on the Guelph men's team.
Yeah, and you talked to Coach Perry Marshall after that. Obviously, Perry works more with the women's team than the men's team, but does work a little bit with both. But we asked him what his assessment of that game was, and he talked about, well, when you miss shots, especially early in the ends, early in the game, you just find yourself chasing the game.
Absolutely, and the one point that he emphasized was communication between teammates for the best shot for the person throwing. And I find that very interesting because usually to the regular watcher or person who's just watching curling for the first time, you think, just get the stone in the middle.
Right.
But it's a lot more complicated than that. We want to see where can I put this stone so that later in the end, we can get 2 points, we can get a deuce, we can possibly get a 3. So there's a lot more calculation to it than just throwing the stone and open for kumbaya.
So, Jai, obviously you're quite new to this sport, and you're doing your research. You're getting introduced to the sport. Obviously, I saw you watching the the curling YouTube videos last night in the hotel room. What's the most interesting thing you found about curling so far?
I have to admit I am guilty of staying up late night doing my research, but it is a truly wonderful sport. And the reason, and the one thing I really picked up about it is the amount of finesse and skill it takes to release the stone. And the one person who has the utmost knowledge about that is Jamie Sinclair, and one thing she emphasizes is hands as center as possible so that the rotation doesn't rotate off the line you're trying to attack. You know, palm high, tuck in the thumb, and we're seeing a lot of that from the curlers today. And from the best curlers, they always have their thumbs tucked in and have a nice soft release, but that's the thing. It's slight release off, and the stone's going wide.
Line's really good.
Yeah, it's a game of inches, millimeters, as we just saw in that that last end with the steal of 1 for Trent. But
and more importantly, it's also a game of patience.
Yeah.
Because you could easily, as the skip, with the hammer, get thrown off by the team that's trying to throw guards your way, and you're trying to plan around it. So it's about patience, and it's also about having your own game plan and sticking to it and being confident within it.
So first stones here for Misa Lede.
Okay, line's good. Yes.
This looks like it's going to be another guard, this time a center guard for Guelph. So playing aggressive, trying to get a lot of chaos happening out in front of the house, and that's going to come right up. Would have liked to probably be just a few inches further on that red guard. Trent might have a chance to peel both of those out. Paige Ballantyne, her first in the third end. Her team up 5-0.
Yep.
sweepers are right on it. And beautiful shot there. Sweepers kept it perfectly straight, and well, they don't peel that guard all the way out with the yellow.
Top 12.
Guelph would probably, could come into play potentially by the end of the end if you get something rolling out there, a biter on the edge, but certainly a positive shot just to open things up and keep the access ports open for Trent to remove Guelph rocks. As we get into this game, it kind of becomes about that. You can mathematically eliminate a team just by eliminating rocks out of the rings.
You're right, and coming back to your point about the house being completely free, you see Guelph going back to setting a center line guard to protect themselves a little, taking away
13-3.
as much of a scoring area for Trent.
That yellow is gonna just come outside the ring. Ooh. I don't think that's hanging on at the back there. Ingles going to plan B on that one right away, but gets the job done. Pushes that red out as
That's fine, Jana.
far as it needed. So we're in draw 2 now. There'll be one more game later on. It's the men's game between Ryerson and the University of Toronto. And you can catch that game at 3:45 right here on your YouTube channel and on the button. We appreciate you tuning in to this game right here between Trent and Guelph.
Got room.
Trent put up a 4 spot in the first end and then stole one
Misa. Misa curl.
in the second. That's where we sit right now, 5-0.
Hard. Hard. Bring it back. Bring it back. Hard.
I'd love to get this
Hard,
buried if
Misa.
you can, but deep in the house positive as
14-3.
well,
Okay.
and 14-3.
Press control.
I think that's pretty slow. The hog to hog time.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Yes. Hard. 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 Go hard.
Hit and roll. Oh.
Just up. That was a 9.
Well, there might be a decision to make later in the end for Guelph if it comes down to a blank, but I think that might be hanging around on that outer corner there. The blank obviously wouldn't be the end of the world for Guelph, but you do got to start putting up some
Still
multi-score ends.
Needs to curl.
Looking to curl this rock and see if they can't get it buried there, but this is curling and it's going a long way. And
Get him there.
yeah, I think that came out too.
almost
So
had
it
4,
may be one red right now.
Sorry.
The
Oh, yeah, I said
rings
it's
are
one
very
red.
open, but there's a couple biters just hanging around. So skip stones.
Okay. We're just gonna draw pretty much to where they wanted. Get him there. Pardon? No, we're shot 1 actually. We're barely hanging on at the back there.
Okay, there you go. There's confirmation. So
Like
that red
barely.
rock is hanging on. according to Ingles.
Can I have a bit less? Yeah, thanks. Okay.
Yeah, and interesting that
Pardon?
Ingles is talking about
yeah.
having a bit less. Obviously, she said in her first
I
shot
don't know,
that
do you think we should guard
her
the
outturns don't
pass?
curl a
Like, if
lot,
I'm- oh, it's true.
and this ice isn't curling a lot, either right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Points heavy.
So Ingles first in the third.
Oh, that's light.
And she got,
Yep.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Yes!
It's light right out of the hand, so
Yes!
sweepers are on it. How far can they carry it?
Hard! Hard! Split them! Split it. Okay. Sorry, guys.
Well, that's not bad. It creates some protection for that rock that's
just a bit with your release, so
hanging
you're
on at the edge, but from my angle looking at
I
it,
gave you there on your second
straight
one,
down
but
the
that's
ice,
way
and it's
over
the
now,
same angle you're
so
looking at right now.
that
You can
guard's-
see
oh, it's
that
not over
red
one.
right at the
Like
back
here.
corner, just hanging around, and well, there's certainly some ice to shoot for if you want to take that out.
Okay.
Yep.
Still tight.
Steals first in 3. A little tight, meaning
Okay, whoa, leave
they
it,
gotta
guys.
straighten it out as much as they can. And yeah, they would have liked to try and tuck that behind the red, but it's gonna end up just coming up a little short and curled a little too much.
Okay. Same thing, but actual draw weight. Alright.
Actual draw weight.
So
So it was a 14-3 hog to
Even,
hog
like,
on the
kind of Christmas shit, like
on the
half
draw
yeah,
last
that's
time.
Fine too, but I'd rather be buried. I think once we're past the guards, you can go because even over.
see if we can get a timer on this one.
Yeah. So if I need to add more, okay, you got it.
Ingles trying to make it difficult for Guelph to score. She is sitting a biter at the
Definitely
back.
more. Yep, line, hard line. Oh, whoa.
This one looked a little better. Oh, but it's a little
Sorry.
heavy too. Oh boy. So the first one was too light. This one's too heavy. And is that yellow hanging on at the back? That's the question.
But we're down by 5. I don't know. Do we want to switch it up a bit? I just don't.
So the conversation
I don't
here
know,
is, you like having
I
hammer
feel
and
like
even
blanking,
ends?
And then we're down 5 going into 4.
Yeah,
I
but
think
you
we
have
just
an extra
draw.
hammer. What has more value? Scoring early, and then you have to try and steal.
Okay, we're gonna switch it up. Give me more ice.
It looks like they're gonna. Are they gonna take their one here? I really don't know if that yellow is hanging on at the back. I don't think it is, considering they were talking about the blank. So this is gonna be a draw for one. they value the extra ends over the hammer advantage. So we'll see how that plays out down the stretch. Draw weight looking pretty good. Oh, it's got to stop, and it will. Right at the forefoot. So 1 for Guelph. They get on the board and now trail Trent 5-1. As we are heading to the 4th end, and we are also heading to a hit with Jai Mowat.
You're absolutely right. We saw on Guelph's second last stone that they tried to tuck it in behind Trent's red stone to try and possibly go for that deuce, but it was just too short, didn't curl enough, didn't maybe even get enough momentum or speed to try and get into the house. And unfortunately, they're only walking away with 1 point. Now, there's still a lot of ends left. They can maybe still force or grab a steal, but you have to make these shots count. When the house is open and towards your last few shots, start throwing it to the house and hope for the best.
Yeah, you need a miss. You need a little bit of luck. But there's some funny things.
The center line free, and if you're a team that doesn't have the hammer, set up a great wall of china in front of the house and hope for the best. Make sure that the team with the hammer can't get through.
So Trent with hammer this end, and we see some center guards, which usually indicates more aggressive play, and just like you said, Jai, keeping the middle of the ice open. They tap Guelph's rock into the rings, but that's all right. Middle of the ice is wide open. But Guelph will probably try to put some bait in the house, if you will.
Whoa, line. He's a curl.
Such a big lead like this, Trent might want to play conservative, but with the way Leslie Ingles has been throwing the stone, I think she's going to keep going for some hits and draws.
Yeah, so that center guard there, you can't remove that yet. You got to throw for one more stone. See what Trent does here. I don't know if they want to clog up the middle of the ice as we see the second stones from Brooke Ramsey.
Hard, girls.
The Trent lead.
Hard, you go the other side. Yep, hard. Hard piece. You're gonna curl. Go. Take the red again.
So she'll hit and roll, and how about that? The exact same shot she threw a minute ago. Literally the exact same line.
A bit of deja vu here. As the first of 2 stones have been thrown for each team.
Tori, close!
Calling Tori Zemelink to
As much as you can.
sweep that rock.
Okay.
They got to get this one across the hog line, and yeah, they just will.
Mopsy, do you want to do one of these or peel?
Quite a high center guard there. A lot of room to try and curl and draw right behind it.
Yeah, okay. Come this way, Norm.
So I don't think they're gonna peel that, which is interesting. I think they're gonna try and draw, get behind that yellow. They're taking the bait.
Whoa!
little hit and maybe a roll into the rings. Try and get behind that yellow.
Roll the red.
And that'll stick right there. Not a bad shot.
Top 8. This is tolerance.
And that's definitely the wrong shot as a team playing with the hammer, putting the stones into the corners or the sides of the house. Gives you that freedom.
Whoa. Whoa. No. Whoa, Lloyd, you can't. Get out. Do you need it? Oh, it's
Steele hoping for this rock to curl. And is it going to get by that red? Yes, it will. Great shot by our camera crew there. But it is going to roll a little too far. I'm not sure if that's going to hang on at the back of the button. Oh, yeah, it will. Sitting just inside the 8 foot.
Want to go this way or just nose it? Roll the nose. No, I'm asking you. Solid control.
So I think they're going to hit and stick around. I didn't hear the answer to that question. But we'll see. Quite a bit of weight on this. Looking to hit that back yellow, but you got to get around the guard. It's got plenty of room.
Keep going, hard piece.
Oh, and this might go right through, and yeah, it does. So once again, Jai, we see another opportunity for Team Guelph to maybe score 2 or 3 in this end and try and get themselves back into the game.
Well, though it might have been a missed opportunity, I see what they were trying to do there. Go for the stone in the 8 foot and try and roll off to your left-hand side. Your left-hand side from your viewpoint, Thomas, and keep the stone behind that center guard that's pretty up high, and make it tough for the team to try and knock it out. You have to admire Trent for being courageous and ambitious. Unfortunately, it bit them. And is now they've lost the stone.
Get it here.
So trying to come around this yellow again.
Separation between them.
And yeah, they want to pull this as far as they possibly can. And
I missed it.
you saw Rachel Steele saying you want to separate those rocks because you don't want it to be an easy double takeout on those 2 guards. And I think they're just going to put one right down the middle here.
This way. This way, Kate.
Like we mentioned before, now this is the time when Trent trying to clean things up a little bit. Give themselves a shot for at least 1 to finish off this end, and then they'd be up 6-1 with hammer and even ends, and that's not a bad situation to be in.
No, most definitely not.
Oh, this has got a curl.
Top one.
It just gets the top one. Oh, not a bad shot. You keep things out of the middle. The worst thing that could have happened there would either you just completely miss it or you jam on that top one. And you risk running it back and keeping that double there. But she does roll out, and that was the mission. You want to roll that red to the outside and ideally get it out, and she does just that. Madaw, her second for Guelph as the vice.
Okay, line's okay. Line's close.
Steele likes the line, but remember, this rock really curls at the end.
Just get it over. Just get it over.
And, oh, I don't know if this is going to make the
I
hog.
think we just haven't played out there all that much.
Oh, over.
Is it over?
Like we said before, yes, it is. Like we said before, Thomas, a game of inches. A game of inches.
So it's not a bad scenario. There, that center of the ice certainly is really clogged up, and it's actually guarding those 2 yellows in the house relatively nicely, but I think there might be a little bit of daylight. Either way, Trent once again is going to try and peel this off. I don't know if they're going to try and tick this one off the guard as well.
This one's coming down like a rocket.
Any roll on red, guys?
And boom! Get those rocks out of there, clearing out the center for them to score some points.
Yeah, fantastic shot there. That's not an easy shot, and really something you don't see a lot, trying to throw a double that's that short, and predicted beautifully.
That's pretty good. You're just a bit down.
They're a great
And
shot.
Trent continue on their winning trot as they can possibly secure 1 point. Oh, sorry, there's 2 more stones left. Still an opportunity for the deuce there. But that's got to give you confidence going into your last
Okay,
stone.
this path should be fast.
So here we go, skip v skip.
But apparently I
Certainly a chance to score multiple points here for Guelph, but well, they have that red guard hanging around, but now they've got to the skip stones, and they're giving Rachel Steele that opportunity to start doing work in the house, as she will try and remove this yellow rock that's just sitting at the back of the forefoot and may roll out. As I don't know how powerful the freeze would be. So Steele for a chance for Guelph. She'd love to bring this one into the rings. So Trent is facing 3 yellows right now and a red on the outside, but as long as, well, I don't know, maybe you can give some insight on this, Jai. There's 2 rocks sitting around the 12-foot. Is it yellow or red that shot?
The 2 rocks sitting around the 12-foot right now is the red and the yellow is just shot. So it's a nice, it's protecting that back 8-foot right there. So now it's a question of, do you take the stone that is between the 12, or do you maybe take out the 2 stones on the left? This is a very difficult shot. I'm interested to see what Leslie Ingles has up her sleeves. But the way she's been playing so far in this game, I wouldn't be surprised if she surprises us here again.
So they're playing the freeze. So they're debating whether they're going to freeze to the one, if you look at the bottom corner of your screen, the yellow that's just off the edge of the forefoot to the right, or the one right back on the left.
I feel like the backing for the one on the center line is easier.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, they're going to go have a look.
Okay, sorry. It's just, I realize that back yellow is completely overburied, so I'm kind of worried that I'm not going to get to it.
Yeah.
But do you think that the one on center line is too far back to freeze on? Okay.
If you freeze on that yellow, you
No, I
won't.
wanna come this way, I
You
think.
probably won't be shot.
Yeah. Okay. I just don't know if I can entirely get to that one. Okay.
You could freeze on the yellow.
I don't know. I don't know.
Still, it's
Or should I just hit
to
it?
save, but I would have to think that
Or
the
do I
best
hit it?
option is freezing
We'll
freezing
freeze.
your
Let's try to
stone
freeze.
on the yellow stone
I have
that's
no
right
idea.
there at the edge of the 8-foot and
I
12-foot.
was kind of thinking for a second, I was like, we could hit
gonna
it. We
toss?
could hit it too.
Yeah,
then she
she's
hits it
worried
right back.
about not getting to that though, and catching on that top rock at the top of the house that you've been talking about. She thinks it
Right
might be a
back
little
to
bit
it,
safer to
right
just
to it.
settle for second shot and have a little bit easier freeze on
I
the
don't know if I need to add
one
again.
right at the back of the forefoot. I think that's what she's decided to do. First skip stone for Trent with hammer, looking to try and generate at least 1 in this end.
Brooks rock!
It's out real wide now, but it will curl.
Oh, I'm right on it. Yeah, keep going, keep going!
Oh, and it's just gonna go off that red, and
Sorry.
might be 3rd shot at the top there, and man, oh man, there's been some tough lines on this sheet 1. as they were predicting a lot more curl there.
Too aggressive, be here.
And
Well, I guess it still makes their shot harder versus that.
yeah, that rock just
Okay. Tolerance is light though.
never
Okay.
caught at the end, never got that little extra finish
Misa
at the end. And
Was
Now,
Okay.
Thomas,
this is where I was giving
if
20
you were on the
bars.
sheet of ice, would you
Yeah,
want
I
to
would rather
freeze
give
the
me a little-
Yellowstone
and she also
right
took this
behind
over, so-
the red stone at the top
Yeah.
of the 8-foot,
Actually, yeah, that's
or do
we'll
you
still have
want
attack.
to possibly set a center guard, make it difficult for Trent to score 1 point?
well, first of all, Jai, if I was on the ice and I had a rock in my hand, I wouldn't even get to the hog line before I fell. But I think you just remove this red and maybe stick around. The only problem is you worry about, if you try and take out this red, you worry about jamming on one of those yellow rocks at the back, and then you effectively just almost give Trent the shot that they were looking for.
Felt tight. Felt really down.
A little tight, which means that this has got to straighten out, but we'll see how much finish there is at the end. We didn't see a lot, and here it goes. It's really curling now. I'm not sure this is going to get around that red.
And they set the center guard.
Yeah, we'll just settle at the top. Oh, I guess you were right, Jai.
So
They did
Very-
set the center
very-
guard.
I'd say
Very
mini.
rarely does that happen,
be safe.
Thomas, where I'm right. But
Hey,
we'll
you
take
got
this
it.
win. And hopefully I can celebrate it with.
Yeah, good job, man. Really good call.
Same thing, same weights. The hole's not wider, so that's fine.
Here we go, last rock. Does Trent have a shot for two?
I'm literally
I
gonna
don't
throw
think
the
so.
exact same,
I think
maybe
they're
even
just going to have to
less.
go ahead and draw around that yellow.
Well, it hit off the guard. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I think that,
Same? Okay.
I think
All right, you guys got it.
Leslie Ingalls would
Stay
have,
close, keep an eye on it, and you're good to go.
or Rachel Steele, I should say, I think she would have rather that yellow guard was a little bit further to the left, just to guard the button. So we'll see. Leslie Ingalls looking to
Line's fine.
get this draw weight.
Rock!
Line's good, but remember, it curls a lot. It's really going to curl, and yeah, they're realizing that now. Here's the big finish at the end. Can they get it to the 4 foot for one?
Oh!
Yes, they sure can.
They do.
Oh, wait, hold
They
on. Do they,
Oh.
though?
Do we
Hold
have
on.
another measuring?
Oh, it's yellow. It's yellow. Oh, I thought they had it, but it just couldn't quite curl far enough. So, one yellow, that's Guelph. They will steal. So it's now 5-2 Trent. They do keep hammer, not the worst thing in the world for them.
What?
That's
I know.
definitely
She
a
would
great
choose.
scenario there for Guelph. You can tell that, you
Yeah.
know, they would have hoped for that center guard to be
Oh, it
just
was
a bit
pretty
more to the left, as you said, Thomas. But they're walking back now, and they're very happy to take 1 point and get themselves on the board again.
Yeah, two things on that. That gives them the advantage. One is that they steal a point. You always want to score points. And the other one as well is that now they gain the hammer and even ends advantage.
Line's a little tight.
Great release.
So Trent with hammer in the 5th. And then Guelph will have one more hammer coming home, but they're down by 3. And Jai, at this point in the game, it's really important that Guelph forces Trent to 1 and is only down 4.
Absolutely. If they need to get back into this game, their shots are going to have to start counting. And my question is now, you've got the hammer and you set a center guard. Do you think that's the smartest play, or do you think it might come back to bite them?
Yep.
Well, if you're Guelph, you got to play aggressive. Obviously, they would rather not have to set that guard. They would rather have the lead. But at this point in the game, yeah, you got to play aggressive, Jai.
Oh, I didn't mark it.
And they were trying to go around that guard. So
That's fine.
obviously 5-rock rule. You can't remove that guard. So you're going to have to put it right back where it was. That red gets thrown away. That's certainly good for Guelph. They get another chance to put a guard.
And it seems that the tides might just be shifting towards Guelph now. Let's see if they can keep up with this momentum.
Yeah, the momentum certainly has been on the side of Guelph right now. And well, it's only 5-2. Talking about, you know, if they can force Trent to 1 here, you're down 4. You need a big score. But it's just the 5th end.
Higher. Oh. I don't even know. Okay, 16.
So Tori Zemelink's guard will be just to the left of the tee line. So they got a couple center guards set here. Might be able to peel both of those out later in the end, but it certainly isn't an easy shot. See what Brooke Ramsey has here.
Yep, you're tight. Yep, yep. Yes. Yep.
Sorry, I know you guys are doing something.
Yep.
When you're going
Yep.
to the door, someone's in the hat.
Keep
Trying
going,
Oh,
keep
yeah.
going, keep going, keep
Thank
going.
you.
Hard, you're almost there. Okay, roll. Try and go for the tick, I guess. That's not bad. Just chuck it.
So Leday's first here in the 5th. Trent leading 5-2. 5th end at the University of Guelph Invitational, the Guelph Curling Club. Draw 2 of 3 on this Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, line. Yeah. Hard.
And Guelph's trying to get this rock
Whoa, whoa, you're on the top.
in behind the guards that they've set here, but I think that this one might just bounce off here. And once again,
16-8.
obviously this would be really risky in a different scenario, but not the worst thing in the world to have the center of the ice clogged up. As long as you can get your rocks in there and be shot.
Yep. 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 Whoa. Okay. All right. That was fun.
Misa Lydiot looking at a whole bunch of guards, trying to get around them and put herself shot rock and see if Guelph can't force Trent to 1. That's the goal of this end.
Needs to curl.
Get the hammer back and
You're on the red
try and get a
still,
big
you're on
end.
the red.
Big shot here in the middle of the 5th.
And she gets the roll. She gets the roll. Good shot.
14.
Yeah, probably hoping that she could have got that behind, but
Kill me?
I don't know which one to hit. Do you want to try these ones? I think the red. I think the red is
All right, so game plan here. See if you can get a couple of the guards moving.
No, no, Brooke. Hard, Brooke.
So Brooke Ramsey, the only one on it. And, well, they do get a couple moving. They open it up a little bit.
That's good, Paige.
Certainly a positive shot. Helps out the situation, but Guelph still likes those guards sitting there in the middle. It's only a matter of time before they try and draw behind.
I kind of like this way.
Debating whether they go with the in-turn or out-turn. And I think Emily Madaw is going to elect to go with an in-turn and see if she can't draw behind the guard.
Close. Yep.
Yeah, and they're on it right away because they know
line's
how much
good.
finish this ice has right now.
Yep.
How can
Yep,
they get it
line's
around
good,
that,
line's good. Tori.
that guard? Yep. All clear. Well, and that's pretty good.
13-8. Good sweep.
Well, that's really good, actually. Tucked right in behind that red, and you can't see any of that. That's fully buried. Front of the T line too. A positive. Not that Trent's really trying to play aggressive and play some kind of a freeze, but
That
better
one?
to be up there at the top of the 4-foot.
Can you see it? On the red. Just top red.
So Trent will remove one, and I think they wanted to get a couple of those yellows moving as well. See if they can open things up. Guelph maybe a chance to put another one
Put down. It's
buried
so hard
there.
'cause, like, they're not moving, but
And
we really need to
maybe
remove
I'm
guards.
wrong, but as
So
it
I need to
stands right now,
peel.
this is looking like a pretty good chance to force if
Tell
you're
her
the
to peel off,
Griffins.
it's fine.
But obviously you want to be careful, and remember last end as well when Guelph had a chance for a big end, and on the last shot it was a great draw, or more of a freeze tap on the button by Leslie Ingles, and ended up being a steal of one for Trent.
No. No. Line's close.
Got a curl, but it will.
Line's good. Line's good. Get Misa. Keep going. Keep going.
And it's by both guards.
Whoa, whoa.
And
Whoa, whoa,
how
whoa,
far
whoa,
can
whoa,
she
whoa,
roll
whoa.
that in? And oh,
14-3.
that's good too.
13.
13-3, so it's 14-3. It's a second less on the draw weight now. All right, shot once again, trying to remove some yellows, open up the middle of the ice for Trent, who have a
Just the one.
3-point lead, and oh,
Grab it.
they're gonna get one, and
I can't do that yet. There we go.
well, there's a hole down the middle, but
Sorry.
not particularly big. You
Where are you?
certainly could draw through it.
I like that.
Well, I don't know if
Tolerance,
you
I
could
guess,
get
is-
to the button.
That's so much tolerance. I could bring it in. I could put it up, but I'd rather be at light. Like, yeah. Be like here, because we just want just over. Cent- Okay. Just like top 12. I like it. Guards okay.
Okay, so not a big deal if this rock doesn't get in the rings, but trying to put it in that hole. Up above the top of the rings between those two yellows, and like she said, top 12 is okay. You could be on that outer ring. But also, Rachel would rather be light.
We're gonna come in like top 12 in tolerance as a guard.
We got a timeout here.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with the call. I figured
Yeah.
we were playing. This one I thought we could talk out because the way the rocks are and the way the ice is.
It curls a lot that way, so that's definitely the way to make it. Yeah, but the problem is if I'm deep, well, honestly, if I'm deep and I get by that guard, then I'll be buried.
That's why I thought I could.
I don't think
Throw it.
it's hard
let
to be
them-
heavy on this side.
Okay.
It is very hard to be heavy.
I mean, tolerance is light. Like, I don't want to be behind two.
Yeah, like, you
Like,
could-
I
you
have
could
to
easily
be.
just throw a center line guard,
Yeah.
let them rip, and then go be aggressive in their next. But
Okay.
I just
Sure.
thought I'd see what you thought about. Okay.
Sounds good.
So it's all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think similar ice is probably pretty good. Yeah. I think just inside. I was giving you a little bit more than that, but I have to get by this guard and I'm throwing more weight. Yeah, I think inside. Okay, so basically same.
All right, so Guelph uses their timeout. Interesting conversation there. I believe that Rachel's going to stick with that top 12 guard / biter at the top of the rings. Big shot here. And the chess game is on for Guelph, who are trying to get themselves back in this game. Really tight. They got a sweep now.
Line's good! No, it's not.
And they set a line guard. House.
Oh, the line wasn't what they wanted it to be.
That was a horrible
You want me right on it?
Line wasn't where they wanted it to be. So now the center's still
And then
open.
once you get
So,
below 7, go on it. We want it hidden. Okay,
oh man, this is a big shot from Ingles here. She's facing a lot of yellows, but there is certainly room to come in there and
Okay,
put
we're
that
gonna
rock
save.
exactly where Guelph wanted to. Just a
This
little
side.
over to the right of your screen, as you saw right there.
What else? Same weight as I've been throwing. Is that okay? So the second one on this side, once you're by it, go. Just because you want this one hidden, we want shot two.
First skip stone for Ingles here in the 5th.
Yep.
And she's trying to get one through those two yellows. Line is real important.
Whoa! Switch!
Falling
Switch!
for Ballantyne to get on this one.
Hard!
And it's by. And it's going to sit right there. And I think that might be shot rock. Yeah, that absolutely is. So shot rock with a little bit of backing.
Scary for a second.
Not bad. And well, if Guelph can't remove this red, then that really nullifies all of those yellows around the edge of the rings either way.
Okay, so if I throw half
That being
this
shot
back,
forces Guelph to try and
to 7.
put something in the rings, get something closer than
Go
that
back
red
and
or
just try to
remove
go
it.
here and roll this.
So Trent is
I don't mind that.
almost certainly going to have a
Back line
draw
should be
or
fine.
something with
Yeah,
backing
back
for
line should be
one.
fine to do that. Yeah. Okay, so she gave. I didn't see where she's leading. I think here should still be. Yeah, that should be close. No, it'll move. Okay, we're throwing back line. You're hitting a piece of it. and you're rolling way over there, Tori.
This has got to be really precise here.
We're playing back line.
Steele is trying to save
Yeah, there's a lot of space.
all of that center line work and draws that they've been doing in this end. Is Ingles made a real nice shot to come in there and grab more of the forefoot than that yellow. Big shot, back line weight, looking to tap that red and be shot rock at least, or remove it. They like the line. It's by the guard. How much can they tap it? Can they move it over? Yes, they can.
And great shot by Rachel Steele.
What a shot. That is fantastic.
Yeah, okay, good sweep.
Kept her composure.
So there you
calm,
go.
Collected.
There's the force as well.
Okay. Same thing, same weights. We have no backing this time. So we have backing, but if we hit the backing, we're not shot. So yeah.
As we welcome in viewers from a day in the OUA, you're watching the University of Guelph Invitational, Trent versus Guelph. We're in draw 2 here today, and Trent put up a big 4 spot back in the first end, and they've been riding that momentum all the way through, but Guelph has them forced here. And the skip for Trent,
Bit tight.
Leslie Ingles, is trying to make a nice draw with almost no backing here right on the button. That'll be for 1, and that would be a successful endeavor for Guelph.
Hard! Hard, 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 hard. Get it there, get it there, get it there.
Gotta get by this yellow.
Roll it in, roll it in,
Oh
roll it.
boy. That's gonna tick off, and how many? It's 3 yellow. So we have a tie game. A steal of 3
Or do we?
for the Guelph Griffins, and that is a major turning point in this game. Jai, talk to me.
Absolutely. We were talking about earlier in the end how the momentum had shifted and how Guelph had really utilized the center guard line really well and effectively. And there you go, 3 stones, 3 points, and now we have a tied game. You can tell that Trent is now feeling the pressure as we head into the 6th end.
Boy, oh boy.
And that end all has to go down to Rachel Steele's calm, cool demeanor, be able to get that shot tucked in to really give them that advantage.
Yeah, that was a fantastic shot, and we thought that maybe Inglis was going to pull it out of the fire once again and make a real nice shot, and
Line's a little tight. Line's tight.
those 2 guards there in the middle were just a little bit too much, and it ends up being a steal of 3. So Trent still does have the hammer, and they have it in even ends now, so that is a
14-3.
positive for
Or sorry,
them.
no,
But
15-3. Okay.
well, for Guelph, they're right back in this game.
Yeah, I figured.
Well, like their jerseys, they're red hot right now, so they're going to play this to their advantage.
I never even really saw it that way. Do griffins, is that a fire-breathing creature?
Well, when I look at their emblem, you wouldn't think so, but I'm getting more of the rising phoenix from their logo. And
That's
if
flames.
anything,
Line's tight.
exactly,
yeah,
and if
yeah.
anything to go with the rising phoenix, these guys have pulled themselves out of a 5-point hole and they've tied it up.
Okay, make it a corner then. Jaina.
Yeah,
Jaina.
absolutely.
Yep, 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 yep. Keep going, keep
So
going, keep going, keep going.
griffins are listed under the mythical creatures category, so
Yep, yep,
I think they're really whatever you want it to be.
Okay. Not bad. That's okay.
If I have to choose a mythical creature, I would have to go with the Nemean line. Nothing's more scarier, nothing's more tougher, you know? And I think, put me right there with Hercules, I could take one down.
All right, well, here at the University of Guelph Invitational, 5-5. Jai Mowat has had 3 or 4 coffees, and he's down at ice level. Just trying to contain himself, and well, the
Line's close.
Trent Excalibur are trying to contain this lead that has evaporated after the steal of 3 by Guelph, and now Trent's right back into,
Hard.
well, they're not playing it safe anymore. They're trying to get 2.
Top four. Hard. Hard. 14-5. Good sweep, guys. Are you cramping?
And the one thing I've picked up on down here
We can
Sheepside,
come to
Thomas,
it.
is the confidence
Do you like coming to it?
that the Guelph team has within their communication with each other.
Yeah. Which is interesting as well, because we saw the Guelph men's team, and obviously Dylan Nepage skips that exact team outside of the Guelph Curling Club. They just happen to be together now representing Guelph.
If you're back, that's great.
Not the same thing for University of Guelph. Rachel Steele does skip her own team in Toronto, and she has another person on her team in Unaki, but she's not on this sheet right now, on another sheet. So I think she's on sheet 3. So this is a whole new team for Guelph, obviously together this year and still working at the communication bugs, but yeah, they really have it down pat right now, and that was just a really well played end by the Griffins
Well, coming
to come
back
up
to
with that
that
steal.
point, Thomas, the one thing you notice about both the Guelph men's team earlier in today and now the Guelph women's team is their confidence. Sure, they may have been away from the ice due to the pandemic, but they have such confidence in their skill and ability over the years because they have such experience on both teams that they have one of the best programs here at this invitational tournament.
Yeah, and it might be a game of composure here as well. We saw there was a little bit of frustration on the side of Guelph to start things off, but well, they've really dialed it in, and although it was off a mistake that they get that steal of 3, they did really have Trent on the ropes all the way through that inning, or that end, I should say.
We could. They're not in the. I don't mind. Okay, you can bring another one here then.
Thinking about another guard here.
And I think Rachel Steele's strategy there is maybe set the center guard there because your stone at the top in the middle of the 8-foot, just above the 4-foot, is being protected by that corner guard redstone. So let's see what they do here.
Yeah, it is. It's fully buried in there too. Going with the intern.
Line's good.
Trying to come in between these two reds. It's got to curl. Oh, it's really curling now. Boy, oh boy, the finish on this ice is really incredible. And can she get it by? Yes, she can, and nuzzle it up on that yellow.
Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot.
Oh, once again, the Griffins have got the middle of the ice clogged up, and they have rocks in pretty powerful positions in the house. Top button, not bad.
Like that?
And the one thing, Thomas, is that they've used their opponent's stones to their advantage. They've protected both shots behind red stones, and now that center guard stone that they've just thrown is going to protect their stones as well. So you've got 3 stones protecting your 2 shots that you've taken.
No, Brooke!
Big shot for Ballantyne.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hoping to get a piece of something there, but it goes right through.
I think you just.
So once again, here's Guelph on the offensive once again, and they might have steel on their mind. They certainly have force in the playbook.
Not a bad attempt by Ballantyne. It's just unfortunate that it slipped right through the middle, because I think what she was trying to do was roll off front center guard and then possibly roll off the 8-foot Yellowstone.
Middle of the ice,
Lydier.
completely clogged up. Trying to come around all of it.
Yep. Whoa.
Oh, this is going to curl again.
Yep.
Oh, they got to sweep this.
Yes.
boy. Big finish once again.
It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight, but
No, it doesn't get by.
Okay, sorry.
But once again, honestly, honestly, not the worst thing in the world. This worked for them last time, having all of those guards up top, and well, they just had more precise draws. They have that.
Rocks. So you gotta get two.
Yeah, Ingles there saying we gotta get two here. We can't waste another rock. She's gonna rethink this here. There we go. Valentine trying to get a couple.
Yep. Yes, hard.
Really curling.
Hard. Keep going.
And now it's just going to be the one as it soars through the back. It opens things up in the middle a little bit.
Lots of line.
Yeah.
Misa.
Same line as they had before, and this time sweeping it
Misa.
a lot earlier.
Hard all the way. Hard. Keep going. Hard. Okay. 17.
There we go. Now that hole is pretty well clogged up. Oh man, where do you go here if you're Trent? Are they gonna try and run this back? Janaea the Vice. Putting some heat on this rock. Looking to, I believe, run that yellow back in the top.
Yep.
Line looks not bad, and yeah, how about that? Getting the rocks moving. Can they get that yellow at the back? Not quite. That was a really nice shot there
You can bring another
from the
one
Trent
around.
Vice.
This is tolerance. But
Madaw throwing her final stone here in the sixth end. Looking to come around and put something through that gap that just opened up.
down. Line's close. Whoa. No, we got lots. Close. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Hard. Hey, line's good. Tori. Hard all the way. Hard.
Well, and they're going to bring it around. How much can they bury that rock? They're just going to put it at the top of the 12-foot. That's not bad. Another rock in the ring and making it harder once again for Trent to get into the middle of that ice, and it's going to be real hard to score two unless they can make a really nice draw. Obviously, there's a lot of places that they could bury a rock. Anytime you hear the skip going between asking the sweepers to sweep and telling them to come off, usually a good sign. Usually means it's both good and bad, which ends up being perfect.
Hard.
Sweepers got to keep this one straight.
Keep going.
Oh, it gets a piece of the red, but it still keeps things open in the middle of the ice and touches that yellow. I think
I
that
guess
yellow.
we could bring it on top, but it was good.
Yeah, they lost that yellow
like
straight
there.
back.
I gave you here. It should still be fine for me. Mine do still curl more than yours.
Funny as well, but that is something that you have to realize. You know your own shots, and
Hey,
well,
just top
Rachel's
12.
been doing it for a while. She
Same
knows that
incidentally, but I think mine will move.
her rocks are curling a little more than everyone else's, so she's accounted for that. One of the things I really love about curling as a sport is being able to hear what the players are saying on the ice. There's not a lot of sports where we get to hear what's happening right in the action, and
Mine's good.
you get some pretty funny comments in there as well.
Room! Tori!
Rock's out pretty wide, but it curling now. And we'll put that rock right back there at the top of the 12. It's maybe an 1/8 to a 1/4 buried, but still a lot to
Okay,
look at. I
good
think
sweep.
you can take that one out.
Because I don't think. Or I could go like this. Pardon? We haven't used one yet, and it's a 6. Might as well.
Timeout.
I don't mind this though. And over here, and you might be able to get this second one, but I don't know if we should just draw instead. Because it's really tight.
I like the draw.
Not necessarily back here, but maybe like here is okay. Like being back is fine. It's just really tight though. Complicated. I don't know if we
So
should do
Team
the hit and
Ingalls
the roll
calls
under
out
or the draw. Or if you see something else.
Joe
I don't
Muldoon,
think the
head
drive
coach.
would be hitting the
Hitting the top one.
yeah,
Yeah. And then
yellow one. Because again, it's looking in, but I don't want them to get more than one.
of course,
Mhm.
yeah.
Would love for us to get one. I'm happy for us to get one. If you can throw it at it lucky enough to stick somewhere, that's fine.
Yeah.
But right now, this is horribly tough to get at.
Yeah. So you want the double, and then if I stick around, that's fine? Or do you want me to stick around first?
No, I did. No, play the double.
Okay.
If you can, because that's a tough spot.
Yeah.
The only other thing is, I mean, you could play the red, but I wouldn't play it.
No, it's also kind of bare. It's like
It
a
would
little
be real
buried, so
tough.
it's hard.
You might get in off of theirs
Yeah.
out there, but I would just, but be ready because we got another timeout if you need it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. This does not go back here.
Well,
It's a rough day. We've
well-
been up for multiple hours. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
think
have, and there's another draw later
half
too.
draw. I think you get it. I don't want to play a lot. We want to get back.
Well, I
to that,
talked
or by
about
that.
playing the double,
A nice
but
form, I think there.
as
Yeah,
Coach
and get the
Joe
row
said,
under
the
be
important
amazing.
thing is that they do get their one. And if you miss this shot,
All right.
or if
You
you
guys
ever
got the ring, I
jammed
don't
that
need to tell
yellow
you.
in there, or
You
didn't
were
get
at
the
meeting, I
double,
don't need to catch you up.
12 could make it real hard to get to
Just
the button.
Get the roll under. From like this.
So they're not, I don't think they're going to play the
Around
double
that.
here. I think they're going to come around
I can see a lot of that, eh?
and see if they can't tuck it in
I thought it was more buried than that.
behind that
So
yellow.
like nice. Have a bit less.
Well, these draws have been a little bit of an adventure today for Ingalls, but he's certainly gathered a lot of information about how this one needs to go, the weight, and how this line is curling.
Yep. Yes.
And right off the bat,
Yes!
sweepers are all over it.
Hard.
It's got to straighten out.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, and they did straighten it out. Oh, and they might have straightened it out a little too much. Oh, and they were going for the double. Couldn't quite get it. Oh, I thought she was going to draw around, but
Block off this
she
path.
goes for the double, and yeah, that's what I
Like,
thought
I
would
could-
happen
yeah.
there. Rachel Steele says
I
we're
like
going to
here.
plug that up and
That's fine too.
make them
She
try and
doesn't have
run
anything
something
to
back to
hide.
get to the button.
Yeah. I like their tolerance is like means I'm gonna throw like a one.
So those two reds, it's,
Oh, she'll
you
have
can't see
that.
it right now because
This is
Steele is
hard,
blocking
though.
it. There they are. Those two reds
Is that she has to?
right out in front of
What
Emily
if she does
Madaw. That might be a rock that you
Okay,
could
so I
run
don't mind
back,
going- So top,
but
like here, but I still can't.
that's
be
a
deep.
really tough shot because
So
you'd
let's-
try and run back
Yeah.
that
or should we give it
red
touch?
that's
No, it's
closer
good, it's
to the house. I'm just thinking a shot ahead for what Trent is looking at, but it's almost like an eighth buried there. So, oh, this
Yeah.
they might have to roll off something on the outside to get to the button, but it all starts with a made shot here to clog up that hole in the middle once again for
just on
Guelph.
the center line.
Steele's last, trying to make it real hard to score for Trent. Well, they're saying the line's close. Can they get that one in?
Hey, whoa, just leave it.
And well, you know, there might be some room to draw around there. It's hard. It's really hard to tell.
As long as I'm really in the ring, that's we'll see.
Yep. Well, this isn't an easy shot.
Okay. We're drawing because that shot's not fair anymore.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not.
that's pretty open. There's a lot of space there. Okay. There are two. The one she just threw isn't in. So there are two. Fighting four, I win. Is it fighting four? I think it is fighting four, yeah. Full four. Go full four.
Oh, you got to get inside the 4 foot.
Okay. Tell me if I need to
Just
extend.
nibbling the 4, that
Tell me if I
yellow
need to
rock.
extend, 'cause
And if you can get this one inside the yellow ring, that's the goal, but that is much easier said than done. Angles last. Final stone in the 6th end.
Line's good.
Big shot for Trent to try and regain the lead.
Here it comes.
Yep.
It's on its way.
Yes! Keep it moving. Hard, hard, hard.
Well, they got to straighten this one out. Oh, can they get by that yellow? Oh, it's going to be
don't
tight.
tap it.
Oh, and it is just going to tap a little bit. And it's going to be, oh no, a steal of 2. I think, unless that yellow is touching at the top. Is it?
No, I think it just might be the 2 points.
Yeah, just the 2.
Just
There
the
was
2.
that, yeah, sorry, there was that red there on the left. I didn't see that. So that'll be a steal of 2 for Yellow and Guelph, and they take a 7-5 lead. So in the last 2 ends, they've stolen 5 points, and now Trent has hammer and odd ends, and
There's only two.
just like that,
Well, I mean, like, because they were looking at the top one.
it's Trent who's going to have to come from behind and get something going. We're going to throw to a quick feature. We got to sit down with John Cullen, a broadcaster.
for people who are born in Europe or in Asia, you know, in curling countries in those nations, and what it means, what their dreams are and what it means to them. But I think for Canadians, I still think
Welcome back to the University of Guelph Invitational. And things have really taken a big swing in this game. It was a commanding lead early on with a 4 spot in the first end by Trent, but since then, in the last 2 ends, Guelph has managed to steal 5 points. And that's where we sit, 7-5. Trent with hammer. They certainly need to. And lead Brooks Ramsey is trying to set this end up in a positive way. And Trent will likely be playing pretty aggressive this game as well. And, well, they've had trouble getting around guards that have been set by Guelph into the house. And might be a bit of different strategy.
That scared me. I swear it wasn't. Okay, good, Brooke.
Well, Jai Mowat's at ice level, and we haven't heard from him in a few minutes. So, Jai, what do you got for us?
Well, we saw that brilliant interview by John Cullen, and it's great to see that a curler can make the transition to the broadcast. You see a lot of professional athletes do that, and Cullen himself has made that transition. A lot of his colleagues admire him and hold him in high praise for his ability, also as a comedian, to taking that comedic ability and adding that flair to the broadcast booth, heightening the experience for any viewer watching curling. And then update here on the temperature. Well, Thomas, it's not getting any warmer, but I can tell you what is, and it's the action on the ice, because we have a close game on our hands.
Yeah, you're darn right, Jai. It's, we thought this wasn't going to be as entertaining a game as it has been, but boy, oh boy. Things have really turned around, and we'll see if the Trent Excalibur can get back in this thing as, well, we're seeing a little bit of a different end. We saw a lot of guards played above the rings by Guelph, and now Trent is happy to let Guelph go ahead and stop doing that and start putting rocks in the rings and see if they can't generate a little bit of offense.
Most definitely. Key factor for Guelph's success in this game has been setting the guards in the guard zone right down the center, really creating a blockade for Trent to try and score. Now, that's not to say Trent can't come back in this game. We did see early on Trent get 4 points right off the bat to send them off onto a good start. So it's just coming together as a team, keeping the momentum going, keeping calm, collected, and getting the communication up, because honestly, it seems that Guelph's, the volume of Guelph has been decreasing as louder and louder. So just need to get that confidence going for Trent.
Yeah, great point as we get a little listen into the
I know we're only down 2.
timeout here.
But Brave going.
Okay.
Guys, all right?
Yep. Just hit right in the middle and stay there, or roll under ours,
Sure,
or like roll
sure.
far.
Don't have to roll anywhere. Let's make them do some hit.
Okay, you got it.
All right, so keep that in mind as this end progresses. That advice there from Joe. Gotta make Guelph hit.
And it's great to see this aspect of the game, Thomas. The timeouts. You don't see it in a lot of professional
You hit
curling
just
events.
off nose, you get
Or maybe
both. I like Norm.
coaches talking it out with their team. You've come to the of the end of the game, really that idea of strategy, communication, and making sure everyone is on the same page.
You see it used a little bit similarly in other sports as well, where it's, you know, sometimes not even a physical break that you're taking, it's more of a mental break. And it's time just to, you know, sit back and think about something, because there's a lot of thinking in curling, and you know, sometimes you can get in your own head a little bit. You see the calming presence of the coaches there as well, and well, Trent needs to get back in this thing, and You know,
I feel like we need to hit this.
if you told them if they'd be down 2 to Guelph in the 7th end when this thing started, they'd probably say, oh, it's all right.
Or, you know, there are athletes that are fiery and, you know, possibly could have stuck the caliber through you. But I think what they're going to do is focus on the ice instead and try and get these points back. But coming back to that point of the timeout, another great another great aspect of using the timeout is that you can actually kill the other team's momentum. If you look at this instance right now, why would Guelph want to even take a timeout? Keep going. You have the momentum on your side. You kind of have Trent worried. A timeout's great at slowing a team down from continuing their pace.
Yeah, and that was the call by Trent there as well. And in the timeout before, we heard Coach Joe Muldoon say, you have the other timeout if you want in the next end so we can talk things through again. And that's exactly what they did.
Actually, go here. You go
Crucial
back
time in the game, 7th end. Trent, well, they really need 2 here, and then you might be able to steal and win it in 8. Not the worst scenario to be in, but we'll see.
Bit wide, bit wide. Stay close. No, never. Brooks rock if anything. If you can. No. Risky.
So I've just been handed a card by the coach of Trent University, and it's Dave Furnell, who's the coach. So apologies to the Guelph fans out there and the coach wrong, but appreciate the feedback, Dave.
I'd be careful, Thomas, walking around Guelph after getting a coach's name wrong. But let's see.
Yes, hard.
Well, of Trent.
Roll it, Tori, roll
Oh,
it.
sorry, the Trent coach name wrong. Oh, looks like we're both
It's on me. You threw it well.
really caught up in this game.
Seventh end, Trent with hammer, which is what they want right now, and this is shaping up to be quite a bit different. The strategy after the timeout was try and make Guelph hit. And that's what they're looking to do right now.
Hard. Keep going.
Now, Thomas, these OUA Invitational tournaments are usually a great indicator of some of the best teams in Ontario. Now, there are more curling teams across the country as it is such a popular sport here in Canada. What do you think it takes for a
Just
team
off
to make the
nose on this
CIS
side.
National and be competitive within it?
Throw the same weight. You need more.
Well, it takes a lot. First of all, you got to have some really strong curlers in your program, which we've seen a lot of those here throughout these universities today. Laurier has seemed to be the powerhouse in the last couple of years in terms of
Whoa. Yep.
teams making that CIS tournament. University of Alberta is right up there. Produced some really good curlers as well.
That was a lot.
But a lot of things, a lot of the time, if you ask one of these teams, it
I missed the
takes a lot of funding as well. Try and get to one of those tournaments.
Like that.
Most definitely.
Same weight.
Having a curling quite close to the university campus can always only be a positive.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Hard.
Now they're trying to straighten this rock out a bit. And can they roll it over just a couple inches? So it's Trent sitting one.
First one's me.
You might want to try and remove that rock and maybe roll over.
Okay, so I'll give it enough. Okay, I was gonna say a touch more because I think that's what I gave you for your 9. Or you threw 8.5 at it, I think. Alrighty. 9.5. Should move a lot. It'll move a lot. Yeah, Misa, that was on me, your first one.
Yep, heavy finish. A lot of curl.
Whoa, wide. 1, 2. Whoa.
Trying to get a piece of that red. And they will do just that. Roll over. Not quite buried behind that red rock, but a good shot nevertheless. And now here's an opportunity for Trent. If Leslie Ingles can make this and roll under that red, then you might have your shot for 2. But you got to get this one buried.
Hit and flop under. Just control. Pardon? Just control. Like a good control. I feel like we have to feel like a nice, solid control because they just. Page on the roll.
You have to think here as we're getting ready to go into the last few ends. Leslie Ingles is going to want to make this hammer count.
Yep.
Really important that Trent is able to get 2. Trying to hit this yellow and just roll over just a bit.
Ooh. Go, 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 go.
It's got a curl. And now they will hit, but they're going to roll back into the rings a little bit. So they do have that biter at the top. Actually, it might not be the worst thing in the world that they rolled that way. It
I guess
prevents the
we are
double,
1,
I
2,
guess.
Yeah, I guess give similar. I'll do the same weight. Give similar ice, but we'll definitely.
Now it will be interesting to see what does.
This is a real pivotal end. Guelph's last chance to try and
Okay.
prevent the
Roll
double.
behind the guard.
And remember as well, yellow is sitting 2, but they might have second shot. I think they have second shot right now. So you gotta move this red at least out of the rings. And if you could hang around, that might be enough to force Trent here. Let's see.
And it's really curling now, Thomas.
And they get it and they roll, and they're gonna sit right there. Great shot.
Great roll. Great roll by Rachel Steele. And you could see the reaction from Miss Lydia. She was really happy with how that stone ended.
So that red is not closer than those 2 yellows. If I'm seeing that correct, that it's yellow first and second shot right now. Am I right on that?
From my viewpoint, Thomas, sheet side, it does seem to be that way. It does seem to be 2 shots to yellow closer to the button. And in the house.
So this will be a hit and stick around anywhere in the 8-foot to get 1 for Trent, and then they'll have to steal in 7.
Yes!
Sweepers are off it, now they're on it.
Yes, hard!
Can they stick around? A hit, and they stay right there. Great shot by Ingles to get her 1, a hit and stick. And Trent gets one and ebbs the flow of Guelph just a little bit, but they still trail 7-6. Guelph with a 1-point lead and Hammer going into the 8th end.
This is what it's all about, Thomas. Comes down for all the marbles.
Normally that's what we do.
So this should look a little bit different as,
keep it as clean as possible.
well, Trent's only choice is to steal.
No, we don't want. They're gonna play to steal, but we need to.
Yes.
'Cause we need to score.
Yes. True.
Keep going. There you go. Going.
Ooh, that
Circles.
guard getting
Really
it
gets
over. Whew, not quite. Guelph will try and keep this end as open as possible. They just need a score. That's it.
What? Eight's good. Eight's good.
Guelph will set their own guard in the
13.
place they would
Do you want
like
me
it.
to sweep it? That's fine. I'd rather that. Okay.
Oh, I guess they were shooting for the rings
Yeah.
there. That'll go right through. So a couple shots that fly through everything to start things off. So empty rings. Let's restart and play with 7. Second from Brooks Ramsey.
Sit tight. Yep. 3. Yep. Get over curl a bit.
I'll tuck in right at the corner and that's not getting a piece of the rings there. It's just outside the rings. Samelik.
Okay, line's good. Make sure it's here. It has to be in. Hard. Hard. You got it hard.
They want to get this in the rings. They're trying to find a piece of the 12.
Okay.
Yes,
Good sweep, guys.
they will do
15.
just that.
Line's really good. Yep. Yep. Leave it. Whoa. Whoa.
Valentine will try and put another
15-5.
guard. This one on the corner.
Okay.
I think they might have been trying to go into the rings there.
Heel.
Saw it. Yeah, we don't need corners. Yeah, they want to clog up that center and
Don't move. Watch. Thanks.
try and do something similar to what Guelph was doing when they were able to steal the 3 and 2 points. They would love to have a mess of rocks above the rings and something that's thoroughly buried.
Yep. Hard. Whoa, whoa. Yes, yes.
Looking for a double here. Can they get both to go?
Good.
Yeah, well, they get the red over. they almost roll that yellow into the rings too. It's just above the 12 foot.
For that one. Yeah, behind this one. Mine's fine. Gotta be in, guys. It's gotta be in. Yes, yes. Gotta be in.
They'd love to get behind that red if they can.
I was trying this out. You like this way again?
Leslie Ingles saw that Rachel Steele was going to be able to sweep that rock out of the back of the house, and she said, "Rachel, stop." Rachel got that out of the rings though, as that one rolled just a
Yeah,
little too far,
Yeah.
so makes things
Clean.
just a little bit harder
Yeah.
for Trent to
Clean.
steal their one.
Good.
And eliminating rocks now is that red is out of the rings, and they're gonna roll all the way back. How about that? They just about rolled that buried behind the two corner guards / top
Back
12
line.
rock.
What? You won't be shot. If you hit this and just roll under. I can't hear you.
Well, here we are, Thomas, in a very tight contest into the 8th
What do you
end.
like? You like the freeze?
And right now it seems that Guelph has quite the advantage as they have stones in the house and contain the hammer.
Okay.
Yep, and I mean, there's a little bit of traffic on the right side of the rings right now that maybe Trent could use to their advantage, but at the end of the day, they have to make that last shot for Guelph as hard as they possibly can to score one. So that's what we're trying to do here.
And I think, listening to Leslie Ingles, I think they're trying to freeze that stone in between the two yellows, but it's going to curl enough, and it doesn't. So,
Oh, and it's heavy.
unfortunately, the opportunity.
You like this?
This is kind of an interesting situation for
really
Guelph
big.
because it's almost like you don't want to throw these rocks. You can protect the house as much as you want, but I mean, realistically, you just want to keep things wide open.
Most definitely.
You need a pass to the button for the win at the end of the day, or if you can remove that last Trent rock, that works too. So that will be the decision at the end of this, but right now, things pretty wide open, especially in the middle. Yeah, they're just going to go ahead and try and clean out these two guards. At least get one of them. Oh, can they get both? Just the one. And that's all right. That'll play.
And not a terrible scenario at all to keep the center of the house still wide open.
Yep.
Now it's just a matter of what Trent will do here. Will they take a guard? Will they get into the house? Questions, ideas, a menu of options for Trent here.
I think at the end of the day, this is gonna come down to drawing behind something just outside the 4 foot,
Hard.
and they'll just kind of
You guys gotta go. You gotta go.
test
you gotta
Guelph's draw weight for the win.
Go. Hard. Okay, you're on the top, but roll it. Roll it. Roll it. Roll it.
Roll it over. matter how far can they get it. And that'll do just fine. Once again, if you're Guelph here, you want to remove that stone, but you don't want to roll into the middle probably. You want to try and keep it open. Roll out a little bit, or hit and stick would probably be fine.
Yep. Yes. Hard. Hard.
Well, Madaw's rock is really curling. I don't know.
Okay.
Is it going to get a piece of that red? Yes.
Brilliant shot.
It will, but they didn't want to roll to that area. That's
I just stopped it. Not that it.
they hit what they wanted,
this
but
one was
they would have
here,
really rather to
so
roll
I
the
think
other
it- I
way,
think it was
because
gonna hit
now there's a little bit of commotion in the middle.
Believe you.
Let's just listen in here. Yeah, they're gonna freeze. So this is a really difficult freeze in my eyes, but it is a little glimmer of opportunity if you can just barely
Stop twice there.
get shot rock,
Gotta
just
freeze
get a
on it.
little bit
No.
more of the button.
Not
They could certainly make it hard to remove this red.
Yeah. Getting slower, so I'll probably kick it with the same and just add.
Interesting. Getting slower, referring to the speed of the ice. So you got to put a little bit more power on it, but
A bit less.
the weight is what's important here, Jai. You got to just nuzzle it up against that yellow. You don't want to bump it too far, and you don't want to come up short either.
No, not
That's
at
really
all.
slow.
And here comes Leslie.
Oh, she
Ingles
thinks
as
it's
she-
slow right off the bat.
Yep. Yes.
Fortunately, not enough power, so your lead and your second are going to have to sweep
Hard, guys.
hard as possible to get that stone across the hog and possibly into the house.
Line looks
Keep
pretty
going,
good,
keep going,
but
hard.
it's light. Let's see how close can they get it. Yeah. They wanted to pull that right up to that yellow. Ingles said right off the bat she thought it was light before she even really released it.
And unfortunately, the consistency
Honestly,
that
if
we
we
saw
click the back one,
in
it's
Leslie
well,
Ingles'
no,
shot
'cause I want to roll out.
earlier in the has sort of diminished towards later end.
So that was just a discussion right there. They were discussing whether they wanted to run that straight back, that rock, or and potentially get that one that's sitting around the button out of there.
Do you like a little more or no?
But
I think I can. Just,
ideally
yeah,
what they're
I
going to
think
do
I
right
can
here
roll
is
it. Like,
hit that red rock that's sitting at the top of the 12 foot and roll out. They don't want to hit and stick. They don't want to have a little roll to the left. Just hit that rock and get it out of there. Keep things wide open so they can eliminate a Trent rock for the win.
Whoa.
Important shot here. Can they hit and roll?
Yep.
Line's looking pretty good. And yes, perfect shot. They're going to do just that, roll right out. And I think Trent's probably going to come back with the freeze, see if they can't make that exact same shot once again. But it's, like I said, it's a tough one. Got to be perfect. Yeah, that is also important as well. So if this rock is not closer to the button, they don't get shot rock out of this, that will be handshakes.
Let's see. Leslie Ingles, a bit of magic here, trying somewhat to resurrect her team's chances.
Huge shot. She just threw this one, came up a little short, trying to put a little more weight on it.
Tight.
Now she's calling line.
Gotta curl.
Does have to curl. Big finish coming.
No.
No curl. Can they sit?
Oh,
Well,
what a
they
shot.
can. It's not
They haven't
frozen.
frozen it.
She wanted to err on the side of more weight because if you come up short, the game's over.
Give a little bit of pressure. Possible that Guelph walk away with, finish the game on 3 points.
So here we go. Final stone.
Here it comes. It's zooming. It's skidding. It's traveling.
Need to remove the red for the win. And they will
Oh!
do just that.
Bing, bada boom, Bob's your uncle, and Guelph takes the win.
So a really, really well played game. The final score will be a score of 3 for Team Guelph. And after stealing 5 points in 2 ends in the middle of that game, they salvage it and come away with the win. But Jai, a real mental battle that game, and a really good effort by both of these teams. A good curling match today.
And what a great second game to this invitational tournament. Both teams really put on the pressure early on. Trent coming out right off the gate, setting up points, and then Guelph answering with some great guard play. You just, as a curling fan and as a new person to this sport, you just have to be excited that you got to see a game like that.
Yep, a great game between these two teams, and Guelph showing their offensive potential and their ability to score points at the end of this game. We take a look at the final. How this game went, and we encourage you as well to tune in well, just about a couple hours time at 3:45. It'll be the Ryerson Rams taking on the University of Toronto Varsity Blues. And that one coming up soon. It'll be a men's game right here on Sheet 1, Draw 3 of the University of Guelph Invitational. Thanks for tuning in from Thomas West and Jai Mowat. We'll see you in a couple hours.